Welcome, everyone, to A Haunting in Stratton. Penned by Ryland Mason, narrated by me, Brian Shepard. Episode 9, Bear's Cabin. Being released from Jordan's care, Ryan was instructed to take it easy and to use the medication when needed. Bear suggested that they return to his cabin. Going back home might be a bad idea. Besides, you need rest. Trust me, Bear said as he and Ryan walked out. If you're sure, the last thing I want to do is take up more of your time. Do you really feel there would be an issue if I went back home? Ryan asked as they stood on the sidewalk, eyes still watching them from inside the waiting room. How do we get back if you rode with me? Ryan asked as he looked around for his Jeep. Sheriff Ratchet is going to give us a lift back. I'm not that far from your house, actually. As soon as he said that, headlights could be seen heading away from the police station. Dugan pulled up and rolled the window down. Ready, you two? I've never been in a cruiser before. My life is turning into a bunch of firsts, it would seem, Ryan joked, as Bear opened the back door and helped him in. Closing the door, Bear then jumped in on the other side. The ride was quiet. It was late by the time everything was all said and done. Ryan fell asleep on the way through town, as his head ended up resting on Bear's arm. Bear was not surprised, considering what he just went through. When he offered to help and investigate, he never imagined anything like this would happen. Glances in the rearview mirror had Dugan smiling, as he would catch Bear overlooking Ryan as he slept. It was plain to see that there was a connection building, a connection that Bear needed in his life. All Dugan could think was, about time. Now turning on to Route 11, Bear could see Ryan's house off to the left as they reached the fields of sunflowers that were still holding on before they would wither and die before winter. In the background, the house, which sat dark. Dugan pulled into the driveway so Bear could jump out and grab his car, as he would need it to bring Ryan home on his way to work in the morning. Trying not to wake him, Bear got out of the cruiser and hopped into his Jeep, as Dugan pulled away to continue up the road a few miles to drop Ryan off. Bear? Ryan said as he wiped his eyes. He had me stop to grab his vehicle, Mr. Green. We're on the way to his cabin, which is a few miles up the road. Turning his head back to look. There he is. So, the roommates are giving you trouble, I hear, Dugan said, looking nosy. Yes, they are. Nothing we can't deal with, Sheriff. We? Ryan thought. There is no we. Is there? If he didn't already have enough to think about, just the thought of the potential we had him smiling. Bear has been helpful during the investigations, researching, and now Ryan could add caring and protective, as he witnessed it during Wilhelmina's full-blown tantrum. As Dugan turned down a dirt road, all Ryan saw was forest on both sides of the road. Bear's cabin was definitely out of the way and concealed. He doesn't even have a mailbox. So to anyone, it was just an old dirt road, which most likely was a dead end, the way Bear liked it. As they approached the cabin, Ryan noticed it was not your typical cabin. A beautiful log cabin, the wood stained to bring out the natural colors in the grain of wood, a beautiful wraparound porch with matching chairs. Shame, only one is used. Pots of different flowers and greenery were in the front and up the stone steps. If you need anything, Mr. Green, please call the station, ghost or not, Dugan said as he placed the cruiser in park. Bear continued forward into his parking spot. Getting out, Bear walked over and opened the back door to let Ryan out. "I will, Sheriff. And if you figure out a way to arrest ghosts, let me know," Ryan joked. "Have a good night, and thank you for the ride." "Not a problem. Have a good night, and get some rest," Dugan said as he started to pull away. Bear stayed close, just in case Ryan needed help. Unlocking the door, Bear walked in, flicking on the living room light, revealing a spotless home, nicely decorated, and a cat, which was sleeping in the lazy boy chair. He didn't think Bear would be the cat type, more a dog person. Yet it was just more to Bear that he didn't know, and to him, that was okay. Right now, however, he wanted sleep. "Would you like something to eat or drink while I make up the guest bed?" "Just some water, thank you," Ryan answered, as he slowly took in all the pictures and knickknacks on the fireplace mantel. Various outdoor paintings hung on the walls, with a few family portraits. Coming full circle, Ryan ended up sitting on the couch, which was comfortable. Too comfortable, as Ryan simply sank into the soft leather. Finding that comfy spot, his eyes closed. Sleep took over, as he was out like a light. Evident as Bear came walking back in with the tall glass of ice water. Placing the glass down, Bear just stood there and studied Ryan, as did Mittens, Bear's cat, who was curiously watching him on top of the coffee table. "What do you think, Mittens?" Bear whispered, as he watched Mittens jump down and then up onto the sofa, where he sniffed and licked Ryan's hand. "I think so too," he replied, as he bent down and scooped Ryan up and carried him off to the guest bedroom, which was downstairs off the living room. Bear slept upstairs in the loft, an open area which he liked, as the heat reached him more easily in the winter. The skylights open in the summer would keep him cool at night. Gently placing him in bed and tucking him in, Bear couldn't help but smile, as Ryan really was a beautiful person, not just on the outside, but on the inside as well, and the more Bear was around him, he was learning this. It would seem Bear would be sleeping alone, as Mittens started to knead the blankets at the foot of the bed and curled up in a black ball. Only his white paws were visible. "Hi, Bear. Who's this?" a voice said from behind him. Bear already knew who it was as he turned and put a finger to his lips, then walked out, closing the door behind him. "Hi, April. That's my friend Ryan." "Just your friend, or more than a friend?" "Just a friend," Bear responded, again with a smile, which gave him away. "You like him, don't you? It's apparent, so don't deny it. I know you. You're my brother, after all." Bear's younger and only sister, April, still visits him here and there, and when she feels like it. April happens to be dead. April was only 17 when she was tragically killed on the night of her senior prom. A night Bear remembers all too well, as she was home when her date Troy Parkington arrived to pick her up. April had been so looking forward to this, as her and Troy decided to go steady just the night before. Two lovebirds attending prom together. What could be more exciting? Parents were taking plenty of pictures of her and Troy, which they decided to match. Her elegant royal blue and white stitching created a fabulous pattern, adorned with white stones in between. Troy in his black tux with his shirt the same color, along with cufflinks to match her stones. A beautiful picture, as before they left, Mom wanted a family picture, along with Troy, to remember. It would be the last picture taken, On the way to the high school, Troy had to stop for a train crossing, which tonight would have been the Amtrak to New York City, so it was moving at 80 miles per hour and carrying at least 15 cars. No one was really on this road, which was the back way around the main street of town. Yet it would be the tractor-trailer behind him that would decide not to stop and slam into Troy, which then both Troy's car and the cab of the truck were taken out by the incoming train. The force of the impact of the cab and the train completely destroyed the car. April and Troy died instantly. The driver of the truck also died on impact. The train didn't stop for almost a mile before the front end skipped the track and derailed. No one on the train was injured. Sad, really. They died because the driver of the truck was drunk, who ended up pushing them in front of a train. April knew what happened as soon as she opened her eyes and was standing next to Troy, who was watching men and crew dig through the wreckage. No one seemed to notice them. Thinking about her brother, she returned home to haunt him every day until he would either notice her or at least feel her presence. They were close, only 2 years apart. To leave him now? And her parents? Aunt Sylvia always said it must have been her determination to get his attention every day for years before he began to finally see her. The loss for him was also a factor. She was all he thought about. Then, when his parents were gone and it was just him, is when he really started to see and speak to her. "Go away. I'm going to bed. I have to work in the morning. And he needs rest. He had a bad night, with ghosts who are just as annoying as you," Bear said as he threw a towel at her, which of course flew through her. "Tell him," April said with a smile. "I will," he said before she vanished.